Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Roundup. I'm your host, Sigoa. It has been a busy and content-packed week in the local and global business sphere, and these are some of the highlights. Uganda Civil Aviation Authority's update shows a steadily recovering airline industry, government offices to benefit from reduced internet prices, freight and logistics industry encouraged to adopt new technologies and innovations, and last but not least, we take you through the testing and cupping process of coffee in our Sounds of Business. Please don't touch the dial. In our first story, Uganda is set to host the first ever international conference for women birders in Kampala in December this year. The upcoming conference is expected to provide networking opportunity for women birders, wildlife management practitioners, and enhance nature conservation.
Birdwatching is a globally cherished activity, with over 80 million birders traveling annually to different parts of the world for birdwatching. However, for Uganda, this unique tourism product is yet to pick up despite the abundant variety of rare birds in the country's wild.
At least by the end of this financial year, we almost brought in $900 million. So you can see that we contribute a lot to the economy, we contribute a lot to the employment. I was telling you, employ around 1.5 million Ugandans directly.
The International Conference for Women Birders, slated for the 6th to 8th of December this year in Kampala, is an important forum for showcasing the unique bird species predominant to the Pearl of Africa.
Every marketing opportunity that puts information out there about the Pearl of Africa, about the uniqueness of Uganda, is something that we'd always grab with two hands. So I want to thank the private sector, like we've said, what tourism is about, government-led, private sector-driven, for coming up with such initiatives. So I think we are happy, and we are going to support all the way and make sure that this conference is also a success.
Over the years, the Club of Skilled Women Birders has grown exponentially from 10 women in 2013 to 150 women currently.
We started with those that were already established within the industry as general tourist guides, and we wanted to make them birders. We wanted them to be able to train other women and to inspire others.
Uganda's bird population makes up 50% of Africa's bird species, with the country having approximately 1,100 recorded bird species.
To see when the birders come, they want to see the birds. They will see a few around Kampala, but they will need to go to our protected areas. And we want to declare that these parks and protected areas are open. They need to be visited, they need to be discovered. And those of you who stay in Kampala and have never gone into a park, I want to challenge you to go and see how tranquil these places are.
On average, birders spend 20 days during their trips, contributing over $350 per day to the local economy.
We're blessed as a country. We have climate that is conducive to people who want to do birding, but we also have a climate that is conducive to birds. A birder comes to Uganda and spends 14 to 21 days. That is exponentially higher than most other countries. So if somebody is spending that much time here, spending between $350 to $400 a day, you can only imagine what that means for the economic contribution to the country. We intend to make sure that we support the communities where these birds are found, to continue to develop, to continue to see how this can support a value chain growth within their communities.
Uganda is expected to earn about $700 million from about 100,000 birders by 2030.
Transport and logistics industry stakeholders from the region and beyond converged at the Federation of International Freight and Forwarders Association Theatre 3-day conference in Kampala to develop methodologies that will shape the future of the freight business. Automation of freight and logistics topped the agenda of the discussions. Let's have a look.
One of the key initiatives discussed at the Rame Theatre Conference is the adoption of blockchain technology to facilitate data sharing among theatre partners. Dr. Ivan Petrov, president of FIATA, believes this will greatly benefit the industry.
We trust in this, and not only in having a document, but also being part of these blockchain technologies, since we also transfer data, not only documents. Documents is the first level. Next level is transfer of data, and we have already started working with the financial institutions on that, and the International Chamber of Commerce in Paris on that. So we have a transfer of blockchain technologies from A to B without issuing any document, and physical transfer and financial transfer of between two coffee suppliers or traders in Geneva.
The conference also aims to provide key insights on trade initiatives along trade corridors, shipping, and maritime activities to further promote growth and evolution in the transport, freight, and logistics industry.
So coming to this meeting was very important because we were able to show the initiatives taken by the Central Corridor in order to reduce time and the costs of movement along the Central Corridor. Among those, we were able to inform them about the Transport Observatory, how we collect data to indicate the performance of the Central Corridor. We are also able to mention other initiatives along the Central Corridor that has been done by the stakeholders in order to reduce the time and the cost it takes in terms of infrastructure and other trade facilitation initiatives taken by the member states.
During the panel discussions, the importance of integrated transportation and trade networks was emphasized as a continuous effort to enhance regional trade and development.
Last licensing period, I have about 600 clearing agents who are compliant. Those days I would not license 300. So this training you have started, the freight forwarding practicing certificate, the FIATA Prop Diploma, the continuous development program is adding value to our declarants, and may God bless you.
At the end of the conference, we should have covered a number of topics, which we hope our members will benefit from, because ours is to disseminate information, to share knowledge and best practices all over the world, and that's why we are here.
The theme for the 2023 Rame Theatre Conference is Resilience, Adaptability and Diversity in Global Supply Chains, focusing on interventions like professionalism, self-regulation, capacity building, and financing solutions to address disruptions faced by the global freight and logistics industry, while encouraging the adoption of new technologies and innovations. Crispus Arinetwe, Dennis Sigoa, UBC News.
On matters of aviation, Uganda aviation industry is on a steady growth trajectory. This is according to the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority's latest update. Notably, passenger traffic has increased by over 130,000 from January to June of this year compared to the pre-pandemic year of 2019. Uganda Civil Aviation Authority is optimistic of the sector recovering to the pre-COVID times. This was disclosed at the release of the State of Uganda's Aviation Industry Report that captured key developments from the mid-year of 2019 to the mid-year of 2023. According to the report, Entebbe International Airport recorded a total of 842,429 international passengers in the first half of 2023. It reflects a passenger growth of 134,679 compared to the same period last year. The Civil Aviation Authority is currently upgrading and expanding the Entebbe International Airport to comply with the international aviation standards, keep up with the rising number of travelers, and also meet their customers' expectations.
Progress is at 85% level of completion. That is overall. But it has several subcomponents which have been completed, including strengthening and rehabilitation of runway 1230 and runway 13/1735. and of course other taxiways that are associated with those runways.
Issues pertaining to the expansion of the national carrier Uganda Airlines routes and concerns by travellers on delays and cancellations of flights without prior notice were also tackled at the media briefing.
So we are trying to do whatever we can as the regulator. We appreciate the complaint from our travellers, and we will continue engaging the airlines. Where it's possible and where it's within their control, they should be obliged to communicate to the traveller on any changes in the travel. When it comes to Abuja, Nigeria, we were in Nigeria last week. We went in and were able to negotiate with the Nigerian government to allow Uganda Airlines to start flying into Lagos and Abuja. And I must say that in the interim, that approval has been given by the Nigerian government. What is remaining, which is also critical, is that the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority will be arriving here today. They will conduct an inspection on the aircraft and other bits of Uganda Airlines, and if it is satisfactory, between Friday and Monday next week we should be able to get an approval for Uganda Airlines to fly to Nigeria, that is Lagos and Abuja.
The Aviation Authority has also disclosed that Uganda is scheduled to undergo a universal safety oversight audit program continuous monitoring approach to be conducted by the International Civil Aviation Authority, ICAO.
The most recent ICAO audit on Uganda on safety and security was conducted in 2017, and the state of Uganda scored 81.8%. That obviously was well above the global average of 72%.
Dennis Sigoa for UBC Business. The Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority of Uganda hosted a 12-man delegation from the procurement regulator of the Republic of South Sudan. The delegation was on a benchmarking visit on the mode of operations of PPDA Uganda. Let's have a look.
The Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority of South Sudan is on a benchmarking visit to Uganda to understand best practices in procurement of public assets.
They must adopt and accept these reforms in public procurement. If they have been going direct procurement, now the law requires that you do competitive bidding. People should be willing. The mindset change must be emphasized. And therefore it calls for a regulatory body like the South Sudan PPDA to be firm in terms of capacity building, in terms of compliance monitoring, and establish these organs at every level of a procuring entity. They must be firm to ensure that record keeping, because currently you can't even talk about automation in a young country like that, but records files should be there.
One of PPDA's main duties is capacity building and compliance monitoring to plan for procurements on time.
When you go out to train, you train the bidders. You know, some of our local contractors, they are not, they don't know the PPDA law. So in Sudan, even your training is going to go beyond your boundaries as PPDA. You are going to train the local contractors. How do they bid? How do they submit responsive bids? Because it is not about bidding, but it is about submitting a responsive bid. So you are supposed to train even the politicians. You train them. Someone was saying, how do you manage the politicians? You have to train them.
South Sudan, Africa's youngest nation, is building capacity and regulations in different sectors of the economy to spur socio-economic development.
We are in the public procurement and disposal of public assets of Uganda to learn some of the experience that they have got because we are still new nations in the continent. That's why we come here to learn from them the organization structure, scheme of service, regulations, and the standard bidding documents. All these things We have got them, they are ready for us, and they started doing all these things or giving to us as a delegation coming from South Sudan.
Uganda has remained a yardstick of public procurement practices, which any other regulatory bodies from the region and beyond want to match. Marion Awori for UBC.
Uganda Bureau of Statistics released the consumer price indices and inflation for the month of July 2023. The annual inflation measured by the Consumer Price Index for the 12 months to July 2023 is registered at 3.9% compared to the 4.9% registered in the year ended June 2023. The slowdown in annual inflation is attributed to the annual core inflation. The main driver of core inflation was the annual goods inflation that registered at 4.8% in the year ending July 2023 compared to 6.0% in the year ended June 2023. Another factor in the slowdown was the annual food crops and related items inflation that registered at 9.3% in the year ending July 2023 compared to 12.3% registered in the year ended June 2023. In addition, the annual energy, fuel, utilities inflation slowed down to negative 1.6% in the year ending July 2023.
Because when we talk about slowing down in the inflation, we might think that everything has reduced, but we have those checks in other categories, the COICOP divisions, the 13 that we normally compile our index and the inflation. You realize that when you look at the clothing and footwear, on an annual basis, if you try to compare the last year, that is the year that we had the 12 months up to June 2023, we registered the clothing and footwear inflation at 3.1%. But when this year that is ending July, it is at 3.4%, meaning there are some items that have actually gone up, because when you try to look at the annual basis, most of the inflation has either stayed the same or it has slowed down.
Analysis by geographical areas and income groups shows Arua district registered the highest inflation of 6.6% for the 12 months to July 2023.
And this was from the 7.3 that we recorded in the year that ended in June. This was due to, in Arua, we noted that the category that caused this increase, highest inflation, is the clothing and footwear inflation. This increased to 3.9% compared to a 2.0% we recorded in the previous year that ended in June 2023.
The least annual inflation was registered in Kampala High Income at 2.9% for the 12 months to July 2023 compared to 4.3% recorded in June 2023.
We realized there was a slowdown in the inflation of 2.3% compared to that of 4.5%.
Sigoa for UBC Business. On matters of digitization, the Minister of ICT and NITA Uganda have announced a reduction in the cost of internet rendered to government MDAs from $70 to $35 per megabytes per second, effective on 1st of August 2023. The move is aimed at enabling government deepen e-services as it embarks on a drastic digitalization agenda.
And effective today, it's now going to be $35 per megabyte per second per month.
The reduction of internet costs from $70 per megabyte per second to $35 per megabyte per second comes at a time when NITA-U has just completed the fourth phase of the National Backbone Infrastructure, a network that hosts various government ministries, departments and agencies' systems across the country.
If you bring that down to 35, it means the $35 saved now can actually be utilized for another government service. So you have half the cost now that was going particularly to internet costs, to parish models, to hospital services, electoral commission, census preparations. That cost that's being used within government now can now be transferred to actually be used for other government services.
Uganda's internet charges for government have been the highest in the region at $70 per megabyte per second. The new cost makes government a beneficiary of the cheapest internet on the market. This factor could influence private sector internet providers to lower their charges in the short term.
And this has a lot of implications. It means that many more can be hooked. It is much more affordable, and there will be more efficiency in running government services. But also, this will impact on the other providers in the private sector, and as a consequential effect, the cost of internet and data will also come down.
We are taking internet to, let me say the region that we are going to, Kabong. And Kabong doesn't have stable power. Why don't we also take electricity there? Or why don't we go green? And that's what we are doing now. All our transmission sites are now on solar. So in case there's no grid, we still have internet.
NITAU will start implementing the fifth phase of the national backbone infrastructure, which involves last-mile connections in the hard-to-reach areas, but low electricity coverage is a potential threat that could slow down this development. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News, in Kampala.
Members of the Great Lakes Parliament have been urged to utilize their political and democratic legitimacy to ensure effective implementation of regional initiatives against illegal exploitation of natural resources. This was contained in a joint communique adopted after a two-day conference on the 7th meeting in Kampala. Henry Okrut has the details.
This is the just adopted two-page communique of the Forum of Parliaments of the Member States of the International Conference on the Great Lakes region. It results from the 7th statutory meeting of the Committee on Economic Development, Regional Integration, and Natural Resources. Inside it is the urge to ensure dealing a blow to illegal exploitation of natural resources.
Urge the members of Parliament to continue to use their political and democratic legitimacy to ensure the effective implementation of regional initiative against the illegal exploitation of natural resources.
Also noted is the fact that mineral wealth in Africa has caused more pain than joy. Unrest has broken out, leading to displacement and generation of refugees. Children and women have suffered more, a trend that members of the forum want to see changed.
As they say, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. You have today taken more than one step. Your recommendations, your suggestions and insights will go a long way in ensuring that we remain focused and committed to the cause.
The exploitation of our labor is the modern slavery that we must fight against, because this is a committee responsible for the natural resources, natural empowerment. We need to empower ourselves to make sure we utilize that labor that we're exporting in the form of modern slavery.
And this is also why women and youth in mineral-endowed countries of the Great Lakes region are being brought on board.
We're saying, can we have approved certification of the miners? That's why we are now moving towards satisfying, having a Great Lakes certification of the member states.
And once we empower the women and the youth, I think that's a move in the positive direction, because it will be empowering the whole nation. Because, as you know, they are part of the family, and you lessen the burden.
The two-day meeting of the forum has provided a platform for exchange of experiences among parliaments of the International Conference of the Great Lakes region. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Uganda has quite a number of renewables, whether it's on hydro and other, but also Uganda has the energy for the future or the minerals for the future. Our lithium batteries, we have found rare earth, graphite and many. And the question then is, how do we position ourselves as a country to be able to utilize the resources and the minerals that we have to create opportunities for export in future, but also for jobs, for livelihood. So as we look at, energy efficiency and e-mobility, let's also look at it from a development point of view, opportunity to create wealth, opportunity to create jobs, and opportunity to make sure that we position ourselves as a leader.
Though coffee is consumed en masse in just every country on earth, the art of coffee testing still remains an elusive mystery for many of us. Coffee cupping is a standardized set of parameters used to specifically evaluate the quality of coffee beans. Check out the testing and cupping process in our Sounds of Business. As always, we leave you, our esteemed viewer and listeners, with some words of wisdom as we wrap up the show, and this is it. Do the old-fashioned things well, look people in the eye, have a firm handshake, and always stay true to your word. Thanks for being part of the show, and we wish you a prosperous new month of August.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Amina gange ndetubona kiranda Amina mu company Uganda Limited ndi member. Wemba member company eno weyeida twalinga tutuli bulungi nga abashala abe wakawaka. Abashala abe wakawaka tuwemera kubaami baife nga bonkana abajamu nandanga twidi nti abashala tebakozesa ki nanda. UN Women weyeida yatuteekateeka yatwegesa okulunda engege nga abashala. Twatandika beno okudulunda n'okudirisa n'okolaki twafunamu ng'abakyala ababujiri district. Abakyala babujiri district sofa tuli abakyala 14 abakola project eya WIB. Abakyala 14 twayawula mu sectors. Mulimu abakyala ba production, abaliisa, mwaba abakyala ba validation, abongera engege omutindo bayongerako omutindo, twaba n'abakyala aba harvestinga, twaba n'abakyala abakola aba marketing. Sector donna diri trained era didi kyedikola. Project eno tufunyemu ng'abakyala. Government yaife ne ya Uganda njebaza. Okujja kujanga batulingirira mu ng'abakyala abana Uganda. Eri kujanga etulobingira ebibiina bingi. We have UWeb, baleta Parish Development model. We have Myoga. Byonna biri kwida muki mu bakyala oba mu bantu aba Uganda.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Operation Wealth Creation is a government project which was started by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni to help wananchi improve their livelihoods. In this program, we are going to feature successful enterprises supported by Operation Wealth Creation. We shall feature stories from Masaka, Gulu, Kabarole, Omoro, Rukunjiri and Chiruhura districts.
Amanya Julius Kanamwangi nga ndi chairman w'abavubuka mu kibiina kyaffe ekya Bukoto Central Youth Link, ekibiina ekyegattwamu abavubuka naddala okusinga wano mu Kyannamukaaka kyesiiga ssaako ne Kabonera. Twatondera nnyo missioni yaffe ey'okulaba nga
Julius Kanamwangi is a youth farmer from Bukoto Central Youth Link, Masaka district. He, as chairman, explains that their mission in this group is to help the youth to improve their livelihood, and the group decided to undertake coffee growing. They started in 2014, where they obtained coffee seedlings from Operation Wealth Creation and UCDA. Altogether, the group has planted over 30,000 coffee trees. On individual basis, Kanamwangi started with 1 acre, but now has expanded to 6 acres.
ne bazaanika ku matundubaali. Tumala tugenda tuziteeka wano.
The group also helps members in planting and post-harvest handling to ensure quality. It is stored at a level of SAQ in Uganda called Kase. He calls on the youth to take on coffee growing since it's a cash crop.
Baba zita FHU, oba mu Luganda kyetuyita Kase. Naye ku kyenzize nfunamu nti nsobodde okugaziwa n'empeza eka z'ettaka kati ziri mu 9. Kirina akamaliza okusimba emmwanyi obulungi ziri mu 6 n'ekitundu. Nsobodde okulaba nti nabyenze nkola, nsobodde okuzimba ennyumba eri Kampala gye nagiteeka, lwagi nayisoose okubeesinga. Ne bannaffe abeetaaga obuyambi okulima emmwanyi tubasomesa nti bino olina gisetinga wooti, olina girabira wooti, oba oyagala okubeera ne ssente, oba okubeera mu bulamu obweyagaza, lima ekirime ky'emmwanyi. Abavubuka mbakubiriza twagale pulogulaamu za gavumenti, twagale okukola, twagale ekirime ky'emmwanyi. Ekirime ky'emmwanyi ye cash crop, kyekirime kye tusinga oku-exporting e Uganda, lwaki kisinga okuvaamu ssente. Ffe abakyenyigiddemu kituyambye okubeera okukyusa obulamu bwaffe. Nga President w'atukubiriza, nga gavumenti y'NRM wetukubiriza, ensi yaffe tujja gyenyumirizaamu nga tuli bakozi, nga tulina ssente, ng'osobola okwetuusa ku ky'oyagala.
Nga ndi mulimi, nsangibwa wano ku
Another coffee farmer we visited is Kabito James of Chesiga Green Village Farming Center in Masaka District. At Green Village, they do coffee beds for seedlings, grow pineapples, passion fruits, and cattle rearing.
Mulimo mulungi kubanga President atukubiriza, gavumenti zonna zitukubiriza n'ey'emmengo okulima emmwanyi. Naye wano ku Green Village tulinawo ekiyiiyo kyaffe okwawukanako ne UCDA. Si kwawukana nnyo nti tuwakanya, naye tulaba nga tulina obuyiiya bwaffe okukyusaamu mu mabanga agasimbibwa mu yiika y'emmwanyi. Era nga yiika y'emmwanyi eya UCDA ebeeramu emiti 450. Naye kati nze ekiyiiye kyange wano yiika tuteekamu emiti 9.
When it comes to earning income, he says that each tree is expected to yield 3 kilograms of kase, and from an acre, one gets 2,700 kilograms of kase. If each is sold at 8,000 Uganda shillings per kilo, one will get 21,600,000 Uganda shillings.
Uganda abasobola okweyunira ensimba empya bagyeyunire kubanga ekolera ddala esobola okuwa emmwanyi mu bungi bwazo, naye nga tutunuulira bino wammanga: endokwa ennungi, amabanga, entegeka yaago, ensimba, endabirira ate n'okugimusa. Ekyo byebimu ku bikulu bye tutunuulira ku faamu wano, tubiteekako nnyo essira okubeera ng'emmwanyi zonna zenkanankana ate nga zirabika kyekimu, ate ng'era zonna zigenda kutuwa kye twagala. Buli muti tugusuubirako kilo 3 eza kase. Era kilo 3 eza kase tubeera yiika tubeera ne kilo 27,000. Bwe tukubisaamu ku ssente akaliwo kati siringi 8, tuba tufune miliyoni 21,600. Futi 10 ku 10 naye era esigala ng'etuwa kilo 3. Kilo 3 tuba tufune kilo 1,350. Tuba tufune miliyoni 10,800. Kati tuba tukubisizaamu wali emirundi 2 ate mu yiika y'emu, ate mu mwaka gwe gumu. Ekiyiiyo kino tulabira ddala nga kigenda kutuyamba okwongera okukulaakulanya faamu yaffe. Era nebaza President afuddeyo nnyo eri bannayuganda okubayingiza ennyo mu by'obulimi ng'omulimu. Era fo eka modo nti olina wolundira, olina wolima yiika y'emmwanyi, olina wosimba ebisagazi, kwegamba okusobola okubeera nga wooli ku yiika zo 4. Naye kati ffe wano tukitadde mu nkola olw'ensonga nti ffe okusinziira nga bwe kiri nti yiika y'emmwanyi bwe tugitunuulirayo yokka.
Kabito thanks President Museveni for encouraging people to engage in farming.
Nti yata ayagala tubeere nga tufuna miliyoni eziri mu 2 okutuuka ku 3 buli mwaka. Nga Green Village tuyina ekirooto ekiwanvu ekyokubeera nga tugenda kuba nga tutandikawo fruit factory, era General Salim Sale yajja n'agicommissioninga. Tusuubira nti ekyo kigenda kuyambako bannayuganda oba ne bannaguleta Masaka okubawa emirimu.
From Masaka, we head to Gulu district, and this is Gulu city. Sometimes back, President Yoweri Museveni visited Gulu in Acholi region to sensitize the Wananchi about the parish development model. In his speech, he emphasized the need for people to look out for opportunities and improve their livelihoods.
I was using the example of court, saying that God may bring the rain. But if you don't bother to jolopi, and you put water in your house, the rain will come. After the rain has stopped, you find there is no water in your house. Similarly, if you use a small container, you jolopi but in a small container. At the end of the rain, you find you don't have enough water. So I told your parents, 1995, in the whole country. Please, jolopi, but also use big container to jolopi enough. We proposed the 4 acres model. And we said, acre number 1, put there coffee. Number 2, put fruits. Number 3, put loom for the diang, for the cows. For milk. The ones which you zero grazing. Acre 4, we said, we proposed you put charm, like cassava. Like cassava. So those are 4 enterprises we recommended for you. Why did we recommend this? Because although you do them on a small area, you get good money. Better than the money you will get from cotton or from tobacco or from other things.
In Gulu district, Palaro sub-county, Abungo village, we talked to Kenneth Timothy, and this is his story.
My name's Kenneth Timothy, okay? I'm one of the old progressive farmers in the northern part of the country. I come from Gulu district, and my land actually sits in Gulu district. The sub-country is called Palaro, and the village is called Aburogo. It's called Aburogo. Actually, we are bordering Lamoa on one side, Pade on the other side, and then we are also bordering Kidgum on one side. So this land actually sits exactly around a small river called Achua. And by the way, this place was the place where Joseph Kony used to laugh so much because of its remote nature in the north. And this was one of the sick bay where his injured troops would be treated or get healed here. So I started actually this small ranch with 25 cows that I bought from Teso. And I will show you also the breeds of the Teso cow. Exactly because we didn't have by that time a lot of cows in the north because of the war, of course. So I went and bought 25 of them, and I started on also about 25 acres of land. And after learning, actually hearing a lot, by the way, from His Excellency the President, I realized where his passion is wealth, and that is animal. So I took interest to visit also some of my friends that are keeping animals in the West. That is why I came with a concept. I said, okay, let me cross this local animal of ours, the short-horned Jebu, with the Ankole cows, and I see what it brings. And the products are very clear. And why did I have to cross? Because one, the yield of the milk definitely improves. Two, also the size of the animal. Whereas I used to sell this animal, the short-horn, for 600,000, now the cross of Ankole and the short-horn, I can sell at $1 million and a plus. So these are crosses between, you see, you guess what it is? This is cross Ankole and our local owned and Frisian. So it is a combination, but the milk product is superb. You will not believe from this cow here, we get actually up to 5 liters of milking, which you think is not a lot, but for one milking, free range, that is something which is great. And all these are crosses, really they are not pure. I don't have a pure Frisian because it is difficult to keep. So this is the bull that I also use to cross. The Ankole and our, and the local one we have. So we started with these ones, you can see. This is what we call actually the short-horn Jebu animal. You can see the size. This is a full-grown mama, full-grown. Of course, they are very hardy, they are easy to keep, they are actually tick resistant. But when you compare them with this one, which is a cross between this one and Ankole bull, you can see the improvement already. This is just first generation. From this one to this one, it's crossed with Ankole. And you can see the size, the difference in size. As much as this one has given birth to almost, I think, 7, 8, this one has just had its first calf. But you can see the size of, then you can see the comparison I was saying, that these are better animals than the local one that we used to have. And not only that, I've also crossed the Ankole animal with the Boran and the Brahman cows. I'm also experimenting on Saiwal, because Saiwal, as you know, their milk production is very, very high. They are also very hardy animals. They really are very tolerant to heat, much better than the Frisian cows. And they are really good as draft animal for plowing. So I'm really working on to see that I will really improve on the Saiwal cows, especially for our community, so that they can adapt. This farm actually works as a training ground. A lot of the communities around, the local people come to learn good animal husbandry here. And not very expensive way, just simple local way how to keep the animal and make money. They come and learn here. Number two, this place also works as a training ground for our youth. We are training actually a lot of youth, both on animal traction for plowing and also at animal husbandry. As much as do I get from this animal here? Well, I get averagely 200 liters of milk, which is not a lot considering the number of animals I have, by the way. But it is something, 200 liters, and that brings me close to about 9 million shillings. if you calculate 300,000 per day, and 300,000 if you multiply by 30, that brings you to about, I think it's close to 9 million shillings, isn't it? So if you work it per year, I can clock close to 100 million per year on milk alone. And from fattening, I make close to about 500 million per year. So if you do a quick calculation, from this ranch here, I make about a billion shillings per year. That is what I would say. So I think it is a moderate income. For a simple man like me, I think it is following what my excellency, the president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. By the way, I've learned a lot, and he has really inspired me in a lot of ways. You know, when he talks about the 4-acre model, people should not just joke. It is a real serious thing. You can start very small and grow if you can listen to what the president says. It's something that people should, especially in the north here, we have a lot of land. What are we doing with land? Maybe nothing.
Still in Gulo district, we visited Osare Pascal from Keto village, Omoro district.
My name is Pascal Osare. I am a farmer. I am a director of Modern Agro Spices. And I'm also a company that is dealing in farming, agro processing and export. I am also a founder of MK Modern Organics and Natural Products, that is the Mercies and Kindness of God. These companies are located in Keto Village, Lakwana Sub-County, Omoro District. We came here in 2019 May, and when we came here, our focus was to do agroforestry. After getting some land, and we did that, and then we started now to begin looking beyond and said, I need some crops that will give me money in a short while. It is a reason why I decided to do chili and hot pepper. When the lockdowns came, the first lockdown, I was actually a victim of lockdown, to a sense that I could not go home to see my people. But I called them and said, it is well, God has a reason why I'm here. And I decided to grow, to put in place 2 acres of hot pepper and 2 acres of chili. And by then, in 2019, we had only 32 acres. So out of the 32 acres, we put two hot pepper and 2 chili. The rest of it, we planted the trees. And we made money out of the 2 acres of hot pepper chili, that is 4 acres. We bought a truck, and that year, in 2020, when we were in the midst of COVID, we, from that same land, 4 acres, we were able to buy more 50 acres of land. And today, we are sitting in a farm that has 230 acres of land. We are not utilizing all right now, but that is our vision, because we want to be #1 in this community, and we want to be, you know, a place where everyone will say, let us go to Omoro and learn something about farming. This is our cashew nut project. In this farm, we have 5 acres. This is our gonja. We have 33 acres of gonja in this farm. This is, the land is so dry, the crops are suffering because we do not have enough water. We are lying down near the big river. This is our initiative. This is what we did. We said, we cannot wait for government, we cannot wait for anybody to come. But let's start. When they come, they will get us when we're on the way. So when you see this water outlet here, right now it doesn't have water. But we have laid these pipes 1.5 kilometers surrounding all this big project here. If we had a big plant that gives us enough water, then all this community would do great when it comes to farming. We also started thinking about value addition. In value addition, we opened a factory. And in that factory, we are specializing in growing of herbs and spices. For now, we are producing the drinks only. We are producing 10,000 cartons every week. As of now, at the factory there, we are employing 119 workers, of which 60–80% of them they are male, and 51 they are female. When you come to the side of the farm, we have 34 permanent workers. Those are people who are here on a daily basis. They look at the farm, and we have trained them in a farm management. Even when the agronomist is not there, they will be able to discover or detect that there is a problem here, and we get the attention of the agronomist. At the factory, on a monthly, every month, we make about, we make closely from 70 to 90 million, and that's the money that we make. Of course, there are so many taxes to pay, and we pay them. We have to pay the workers, and all the expansions that you see that are happening at the factory there, the money is coming from there. And then when you come to the farm, it is the sunshine, the heat, and because we lack a strong irrigation system, it has made us to make so many losses. Otherwise, our projected income in the farm, we wanted this farm to be making at least 100 million every month. I want to take this opportunity to thank the government because, regardless of those small shortages and the challenges that we are together. When I call them, they are there always to support. They give us support. And of course, I cannot, stop at that. I need to also to thank the president, because one of the most important things in a society is security. Without security, there is nothing. Now that we have security in this place, the best thing we are going to do is to get out of our beds and we start walking the talk.
Onono Moses is also from Gulu District, Omel Sub-County, Apem Parish. He says that after the end of the war, his main purpose was to settle down with his family, do commercial agriculture, and get fees for his children. In agriculture, he has not been disappointed.
My name is Onono Moses. I am 53 years old. I live in this village in Omel Sub-County. I started farming in the year 2007, when peace finally returned in northern Uganda. Our first purpose was to join hands with the family and have commercial farms where we get food and we earn money to pay fees. In 2008, we started with cassava. We grew cassava, we grew peanuts for food. The main purpose was that people were coming from the displacement camp and they needed food. And I just married. I'm an engineer. So the best option was to come to my ancestral land, which is about 300 acres. As I talk now, we have 40 acres of clone eucalyptus that you can see, they're growing. We still have 16 acres of the pine trees that you see growing. After doing that, the community got interested and partners got interested so that we should teach people farming. We think agriculture is going to take us very far, because me who I'm speaking, I am an engineer. I worked for European Union between 1996 to 2001. And when peace came in 2007, I dropped engineering. I went to agriculture, and we are not regretting. Now we have started making money from our trees. As you see, standing there, we harvested last year 5 acres from our pine trees. We made over 60 million. So the one you have seen behind here, we are putting them into 5 blocks. These 5 blocks every year will get us about 60, 70 million. This is going to make us scale growing of trees. Every year we are going to be growing 50 to 70 acres. Now, the other thing that we have benefited from the advice of His Excellency, the President, is that the family should use their land, together. So for us, we have about 300 acres, and we have not even split 1 acre. That the President has always advised us, and everybody who is listening, that is one of the best advice. So when you come to our home, all of us are growing together. Yeah, you are seeing this pine tree. We planted it in August 2008. Now it's 14 years, and we have started harvesting. A tree like this if you cut it and sell it as timber, you can get about 250,000. That is definitely very good money. This clone GU7 eucalyptus is only 1.5 years old. Huh? Look at it. Yes, and we have 40 acres. Yes, of these, and we are adding. This year we may do 20, 30 acres. Yes, it will be ready. As I talk now, it's already ready for class 2 poles. This clone is 2.5 years old, and we can sell it now for 15 to 20,000 a tree. But we are not yet selling. We are doing off-season. We have trained people on model where one katala or a tusk, you can get 1 million shillings in 6 months. Now we are not only just training people, we are doing it also ourselves. As I talk now, we are putting 25 acres of season horticulture production, and we expect to get over 300 million from that production. In April, we'll be selling up to June, July. This is our 25-acre production for off-season horticulture production. We think it is the biggest in the greater northern Uganda. We are looking at 4 crops: antula, eggplant, tomatoes, watermelon. Each of them we are doing about 6.5 acres. And we expect to generate over 300 million. We are doing it in partnership with one student. This block I'm standing for belongs to student. Then we have community. The next block belongs to community. And we have our members of the families and Homer Farms. They are running the other 2 blocks. You can look behind you. We have over 30 staff. You can look at them. Yes, and students who are all working in these projects together. Yes, and members of the community. Yes, so we are very, very grateful, first of all, to the government for particularly the president. Yes, for the knowledge about the 4-acre model. We have picked it. We don't only have 4-acre model, but we have this big size. But the idea of community coming together, family coming together to work and earn good money from agriculture, it has been very, very inspiring. We have moved elsewhere to learn from those projects. So we thank really the government. We thank everybody.
Ajalo Winnie from Winyamabi Village, Gulu District, is a quality controller from Gulu, Uganda Country Home Diaries. She explains her type of work.
My name is Ajalo Winnie. I am the quality controller at Gulu, Uganda Country Dairy Farm. This is a dairy farm. It started way back in 2012. That's when the concept started. We started and we are based on 40 acres of land. We are having dairy cows, and that is Frisian breed. And with us here, we are having 28 cows. We started this farming in 2012, but also within this farm, we grow our own feeds. That is the Chloris Guyana for making hay, and we also grow our own maize for making silage. And these are the things that has helped us to feed our cows in dry season. So with us here, we are having 2 bands. We are having the lactating band and we are having the non-lactating band. The lactating band, we are having 7 cows, and each of them, when they have just produced, they give us an average of 20 liters per day. But that one also reduces according to the temperature and also according to the stage of the animal. Previously, we used to produce 200 liters per day, but currently we have reduced to 120 liters per day. And this volume is too low compared to our installed capacity, because our installed capacity is 1,000 liters, which we would use for making yogurt. Since the milk volume has reduced, we have decided to outsource milk from outside. And when we are buying milk from outside, we buy a liter at 1,500,000. That is from ranchers and from farmers in the communities. But when we come here at the farm, we add values onto those milk. And that is in form of yogurt. From a liter of milk, which we have bought at 1,800, we make yogurt and we get 6,000 from it. But also we realize a value addition, that is ice cream, makes more money. So we realized that from a liter of milk, which we have bought at 1.5, if we process it into ice cream, we are able to get 8,000 or 10,000 shillings Uganda. So that one we realized that we are getting more money when we do value addition in ice cream than in yogurt. Therefore, we decided to leave out the yogurt processing and we opt for the profitable value addition, and that is ice cream processing. But also, we realized we are having challenges with ice cream. Ice cream required constant power supply. And in this region, at times we lack power. At certain time, power break off. And if the power breaks off, we would recommend that if we would have a solar fridges, that would do for us better. So, also in terms of animal, our animal, the number has reduced. The Frisian we are having, they are not resistant to this heat. The area, northern region as a region, is very hot, and Frisians are not used to hot temperature. So we are deciding to change our strategy to breed Giolando. So in case of any support that is needed to the farm, we would love to have cows where we would do breeding of the cows, and that is Giolando, which is heat resistant.
Amabara gange ni Nyoe Lawrence Pole Virungi Apuli ndi muikazi wa Harkoto MT Bazaar Ward.
In Kabarole district, we visited Lawrence Poli Birungi, who is a fish farmer in MT Bazaar village, Fort Portal City.
Baitu nkagonza omulimo gw'ebyenyanja kandi hati ngumazire mu guno genda kwa mwaka gwange gwa kasatu. Omulimo gw'ebyenyanja ngusangire guli gumu ha mirimo eyeso kwikazaho no kulinda omuntu kandi ekakwekya orukwenda oburukuba oine target yawe enungi.
He says that he has been a fish farmer for 3 years and confidently says that one can earn comfortable income if one is properly focused. At the time of recording, he had stocked his pond with 10,000 fingerlings, and he estimates to get an income not less than 50 million shillings.
For example, nteremo ebyenyanja omutwaro gumu kakuba ndagenda gutunda nimba nimanya nti tini kujja kutunga hansi ya sente eziri milioni 5 habwensonga ekyenyanja buli kilo rundi ningonza kutagetinga ekyenyanja kyange ndoli nakitunda siringi hagati ya siringi 8 n'omutwaro gumu. So aho noja kwesanga nti oli above na milioni 5, but for budgeting purposes no kole bintu byona no bana budgeting era hamtwara 5 hasente za hansi baitu no sobora kuya musente nyingi.
Fingerlings take 7 months to mature to go on market. Polly says that he also plans to rear pigs and chicken, and since Fort Portal has been turned into a tourism city, he is planning to use his farm as a tourist site for visitors.
Bana bange tini mbyenyanja honka esente zinkuya muno hati nindenga kulera ninja kuteka mu empunu ninja kulenga kuteka mu enkoko ninja ebintu bingi. Secondly, ekichweka kinu kokokono kirora tini kujagarukira byenyanja byonka. Now hati nko kutwatunga Fort Portal City ningenda ku venture into rundi kulenga hukorora nti nakora a tourism kind of business. Ebyenyanja already nyine enough space nkateka mu banks enungi zirikumara nuko abagenyo barkuija you can host them. Now nikikutwara abagenyi bawe nibenjoyinga business yawe na kandi bakwasente hati nko kwarora business yange ebyenyanja ebintu sente akasente kandi kuihamu ni ngonza nanyi kalendale kurungi ndale ekabajungu. So kulia ebitoke no berora emisiri byona ntubitekamo murundo gumu nuko korora nti omuntu wa bulikiro walya kurungi warara kurungi wajwara kurungi then tukuleteri no bwomezi bwawe okorora nti emyaka. For example,
he does not regret his choice of enterprise because it has helped him to live happily, eat well, and sleep well, as well as give employment to other community members.
Ibalyangi ni Bob Kagoro. Kazaro munu Kidukuru, this is Kidukuru, Karambi, Kidukuru is the village, Karambi Parish, and Karambi sub-county, Russia
Formerly a certified accountant working in an office, he decided to leave those jobs to settle down into farming. On an acre, he has matoke, rears pigs and rabbits.
Hano ine ekibiri kino kikare kine kugiguruka hano haro ekibiri bete empunu zino zonka ziri just in a quarter acre ine toke ine rabbits ine empunu toke na rabbits hano saa zino baitu obona gambira unachwira mu kuhumura nagamba kintu kisobora kujyamu kisobora kundetera sente kandi kireta bwangu kandi kasobora no kwekisa abandi kuboleka ati kisobora kukolebwa.
About the piggery project, he says one can start with little capital and it is a project that can bring in money in a short time. He started with 4 pigs in 2013, 3 female and 1 male. Now he boasts of 600 pigs in his project, but says that over the years he has sold over 3,000 pigs out.
Bara mukurungi na ora challenges zisikie za projects yezo nasange mpunu nitekinto chikwangwa muno niteka msententaito nizara muno mpunu kwihati no grant yenu saa zero yenu land race is a land race breed yore zile byande actually kezili kuna mkaga betake sigeze kuna so en project nezari byana bingi mubwire butaito noteka mkataito nokatandika nyempunu ina nkatandika nyempunu ina kazi 3 nense gem hati I have over employees karupaga almost bina na baitu en lockdown ya bayiro tunzire employees mingi muno employees zikere katandika 2013 nkatandika nyambo bagami employees na bitu zaire according to my records is in hand na katunde employees 3000 3 usanju ukaga 9 is na katunda kwa 2013 kan lockdown muno honka muno kurga February hati na katunde employees bibiri kienda 9. In this structure here, I have about 113, this one alone. From the other side, this side, I have about 113. And these, I keep here, they are mainly different breeds. This is a cross of a large white and a Canberra. And I have a cross of a Canberra and a Hampshire there also. You can move along here. So we feed these pigs twice in a day. In the morning, I normally give them mixed feeds with maize bran and cotton seed, soya, fish, sunflower, premixes, Wonder pig and salt. In the morning, these ones take each takes about 2.5 kilograms in the morning. In the evening, I normally give them the greens, the weeds, these greens that you're seeing all around here, these yams and the potato vines. And even these matoke, these pigs are animals which eat almost anything. People fear that they are difficult to maintain, but it's actually very easy to maintain piggery. As long as you get it right, you put in passion, you plan properly, you visit and come to learn about different needs of the pigs. You visit different farms and see what they do. So you do it even better than they do it. So my passion is always actually in piggery here. Hati kukungambega actually unazitandikire reason zange zikaze nyingi. 1, pesa staying na familia yange. 2, kuleka bantu bandi so kulebwa. 3, employing people to give people work, jobs to do and gainful employment. Hanu mfamu hanu inabakozi mukaga ukigara mukunu munu abakozi mukaga batema ukurira mpunu koja kugabira koraki inabandi mukaga balukurira bitakuli ne binyonga bigabira mpunu.
Fred Muchungozi is a mixed farmer from Rukunjiri district. Formerly a teacher, he is now engaged in growing matoke, passion fruit and cattle rearing.
Muchungozi Fred, retired second head teacher, orukuruga omukabwire seru. Erikushangwa mu Northern Ward A, mu Western Division, Rukunjiri Municipality, Rukunjiri District. Ndi a farmer ni mpinga orutoke nyino orutoke rwa nyindwingana eka 3 nyino mwani nagwe ndwingana eka 2 n'ecweka kandi ndi nyino project y'obutunda.
He was given the cow from Operation Wealth Creation and also coffee seedlings. He was also given a bump, farm drugs and a wheelbarrow plus other equipment.
So ni simero kandi nyino project y'omwani tukanta guiha omu government okubembaga abandi ba distributinga ebitujanje bimwani bikanke 13 ebito by'omwani binyine kandi mu byo bintu bintungire ni twakutunga obuyambi arobu natunga obuyambi kurugana RRDC arobu mpaka omakukuso omwani nati nchikine konka kakafwa bampa nakahuba bampa na chemicals kandi n'obumwe kunkuza omuwere secretion batwire banyambise mbaze kufuira amwe nebomba ari bomba yawe mpangwe ekosa petro ninchira kugiza ingitiza banyamba mfuira omwani gwanje mwe nicyo kisimira government ya Uganda na president amwe n'abawere secretion nyenda kusima aba office ya RDC na were secretion amwe n'aba municipality aba agriculture nabakira ku ntayayira kandi banyamba so icyo kibasimira munonga kandi ogumwani gwanje ninchira kusharura mu kukiranka kubagwezire mutaro mu katani 3 z'omwani nazo ndi kukira kusharo shanga ninyamu nka agati ya miliyoni 10 kukari 15 mu season konka nakira kubara mu season empango amwe nakachi ngwe ntotoro no shanga omwani ko mu mwaka nayi hamwe mitwa miliyoni nkama 30 aziko omwani gwanje kandi nyine project yo butunda ni koraje no ngitandikire nkagitandika nakumura ati nayo nendetera ka sente ninchira kuyamu abutunda eshahwemwe burwa katano buri wika nshanga ndi kugiguza emitwaro 20 ngwe ni wikero mu butunda ni hamwe emitwaro 20 kandi umufamo mu arjemwe ibintu bingi abo kwa ko kugireba yongire nkongeraho na itaka ya miliyoni 15 kugira ngo expanding kandi nakora project ya miss
Through the various projects, he has been able to expand on the acreage of his land, take care of his family, and live comfortably. Silk farming is not a very familiar enterprise to many farmers. However, to Nathan Kawagambe of Ntarama 1 Cell, Chiruhura district, it is the one he chose after government provided all the necessary equipment and also training.
Yomuhinji wa silka, i president yatuhire mutuhinje nkabahinji nyensia tugoti nyensia tukatunge ejo kutanikiraho akasente kahuriri umazima tukatandika akagizeta mu mwaka wa 1997 kurugwo butatunga silka konka ukuyo imbere bihwire bitukeke tunja kasente kaje konka kurugwo bubwire yabahinji abatandikire ububwire tukabaje munonga bakana batuombekera inju nka hacare nkenye mukureba batweze ibyo kosa byona batweze za marbare kandi bakaba batweze na training yuko ngutwashomaje twabyetegereza sirike gimukurebeji ni kintu kirungi munonga kunkaba.
He says silk is very profitable, but not many people are aware of it. Silk is an expensive garment, only worn by the rich.
No choroma buri season yona no choroma utina kwendeka kandi utina kuzahare munonga ikikuru no kwatama babenkaga weza kurisa ubukoko bwabo ukakabutekaho bukarya bukiguta kumare sabitasi ishatu zonka ziti tizikuhinguramo uri muri samurungi munongo oyine ubukoko ubwo kubona urisa umukiro eriko irimo ubukoko emitwari 2 muhyamukiro 30 na kiro 80 hagati ya 30 oburo batandika buri kiro twantujugura umutwaro so atoke mu mutari ya 30 uri umunji w'umuka utagire nkare kumara sayi bitishatu uko tumwe sente nyingi munonga so uri umuhinji murungi munonga umwaka nohinga kasi kano nyino mwanya muhango munonga akakokoni karuga muno garama kandi kakokoni karuga no garama kandi ushango umya umezi mwenda wakora kasenti kahurire kandi kakwasa kubisaho so tekateka yani nchemerwa munonga president project yatwerize abokuba tekundura wako umusirigwa nko kuko nimugurebe umusemango munongo wano ukanyisa no gurisaje no gwara no teka kulisa kunyi munonga kakuni yabone yakuzire ya musiledi mpango munonga atujiguza hero hari musirika umwenda gwa sirika urugujora nomwe sharanka ba bishop ba president abesenti binyi munonga nachabe bitinisa byangu munonga kongo umuntu wabutosha waza gujora nibakwiguza nongo ryo mukama wareba so sirikeji n'umurimo murungi ukurisa mari bareje ko noreba kandi ikintu cyayo uri umuyonjo ibe kukutukasa kwatora ndwara ati nicyo kintu cyayo so ngono ine sente zawe urije nabwanyuma ataho uri no mwanya guno muhango yasogura nugura hwinte nango wina nkente nayo ni kintu cyangu munonga ngabo ka amashago kuyo munte goko numbire nibyo kuborisize wabite ko mu rutoki nukuri ikirisa kirunye munonga ati nabaje cyangu munonga so ko nkanti sima munonga government umuranga nko guyaterire abangi baserekana bakimanya okuyo umuntu gumuntu butatu bw'ikizibu cyo kubura katara heru kungato atoba ize government itiro mukono batugambira ngo hari company iri kwija ibyo kuteka musente kuyamba buri mukozi wena
Nathan says that after getting money from his enterprise, he has decided to do other ventures like cattle, piggery, coffee and chicken rearing. He also appreciates government for assisting farmers to engage in profit-making projects in agriculture. Waso Habat of Kabarole District, Rengaju Village, is one of the beneficiaries of the Operation Wealth Creation Project, where he receives pigs for rearing, and this is how he went about it.
Banyita mukuru waswa Habat waswa ndi mchalo cha bakebwa Rengaju Modo Village Kabarole District Katungo Mugisa.
I got opportunity to be one of those who received wealth creation pigs.
Yeah, wealth creation. This is in the chairman.
The chairman LC1 approached them and they were told to organize themselves, construct the houses for where the pigs will be, and then later he was told to apply.
So, katunge mpunitano ezo.
When they got 5 pigs, they are supposed to, of course, rear them, and after give the 5 to another farmer.
Ozitungira omuntu ondi ekyo ekintu kyenakozere natandika kuzirolera kulungi ati saa zino empunu enkulu n'ento ziteranize hamu ayini empunu nka 8 nukiramu.
When the